Priorities in PowerMail for Joomla. In tutorial number 7 we will discuss the priorities and what takes precedence over what when sending an email to PowerMail for Joomla. As we've expanded PowerMail for Joomla, we have many options and you can specify different things for different accounts and different users. This is one of the things that makes PowerMail for Joomla so powerful. The other thing we have, of course, that most of you should be familiar with is the global parameters. Here you can set whether something is going to be published or not, how it will be, if it will be a public article or registered, what sections and categories there will be, etc. For display properties, whether it's going to be on the front page, whether it is going to include HTML or not, and it's some imaging things that we'll talk about later. For priorities, essentially what we want to discuss is what takes precedence over what. I'm going to draw this out for you from the beginning just to make it simple. Essentially, power tags are the most powerful component in PowerMail, in that if you put a power tag, it will take precedence over your user settings, over your account settings, and over the global parameters. The second priority will be the user. How do you have each user set up? If there are no power tags, it will take the next priority. So for instance, if a user is set to publish, but yet everything else is set not to publish, then the user, then if it comes from that user, it will be published. Third will be the accounts, so that takes the next precedence, and then last it defaults to global parameters. So let's just take a gander here. We've just explained power tags, so I think you understand that. But let's go next to users. So here we have a user here, and this one doesn't have the power tags enabled, so that's not going to be an option for him. He's not actually specified with that with the Joomla user, but that's not really what we're talking about. Here it says publish new content. So here it says we're going to use what's global set, or we'll say yes, we want that to be published, or no, we don't want anything coming from this user to be published, we want to check it first, or something like that. Or we can default to the account settings in this case. So I'm going to leave that on global. Here we have section and categories uncategorized. That means that this will default to either the account or to the global settings if it's uncategorized. If we specify something, then everything from this user, which is this email address right here, will go to this section, this category. This is a great way to set up blogs for some of your users, and they can have their own section and category. We have the same sort of priorities for access control, public, registered, or use the account settings, or use the global settings. For HTML, the same thing. Use account, global, or if you want the user to specify always. For front page, exactly the same. It's either yes, I want that always from this user to go to front page, no I don't. I want to override even if somebody else is sending, or I'm going to use the account settings or the global settings. And the same thing for read more. Let's click this off and we'll go to the next section, which is the account settings, and we'll look at this account. This publish has nothing to do with whether the article is published. This is whether, down here is what we're looking for, publish new content. So you can see the options are less here. You either use the global settings, or you say yes, publish everything coming to this email, or no, don't publish it. So I like to leave these at global settings and just use yes or no for the exceptions. Then again, here we have access control. Either use the global settings, or we can specify for every email going to this. HTML, front page, and read more again. In a nutshell, that is how we've set up the priorities. So to review that one more time, power tags take first priority, users take second, accounts take third, and global parameters take fourth. The nice thing about this setup is that you can have these defaulting to different things. So for instance, you can have a user that isn't going to be published, but is going to set to a different section, and but for some things it will default to the global parameters, but for other parameters what you've set in the user will work. This is the power in PowerMail, and the priorities are a big part. Understanding that will help you control the content to your website tremendously. Thank you very much.